20 greatest 1970s car chases ever filmed. Before computers ruled Hollywood, stunt performers took every risk to pull off authentic, daring action sequences with no green screens or CGI whatsoever. These weren't just movie scenes, they were genuine mechanical chaos, filmed on real streets with real cars and carrying real consequences. Whether it was a Mustang tearing through San Francisco or a Dodge Charger roaring down country roads, the 70s transformed car chases into a high-speed art form. Join us as we explore 20 of the wildest and most unforgettable car chases of that decade. No CGI, no deception, just pure cinematic power. The French Connection, 1971. We kick off our list with 1971's The French Connection, a film that redefined realism in car chases. Director William Friedkin crafted a thrilling 5-minute sequence where Gene Hackman's character, Popeye Doyle, commandeers a civilian 1971 Pontiac Le Mans to chase a hitman escaping on a Brooklyn elevated subway train. What made this chase legendary wasn't just the speed, but its raw, unfiltered danger. Friedkin shot the scene guerrilla style without official permits, weaving through real Brooklyn traffic at speeds up to 90 miles per hour. Stuntman Bill Hickman drove the Le Mans with Friedkin himself operating the camera from the back seat. Production had minimal control. Off-duty NYPD officers helped manage intersections, but many cars and pedestrians were unwitting participants. An unscripted collision with a civilian vehicle was even kept in the final cut for its sheer authenticity. The elevated subway sequence was just as audacious, with Friedkin bribing a transit official $40,000 and a one-way ticket to Jamaica for track access. The result was a tense, chilling chase that remains a benchmark for practical stunt work. This scene not only cemented The French Connection's status as a crime thriller classic, but also set a new standard for all future car chases, showcasing the power of practical effects and professional filmmaking in creating cinematic magic. Vanishing Point, 1971. Next up is 1971's Vanishing Point, a counterculture icon of speed and rebellion. Director Richard C. Sarafian orchestrated a breathless, high-speed pursuit across the American West. The film stars Barry Newman as Kowalski, a Vietnam veteran and former race car driver, tasked with delivering a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT440 Magnum from Denver to San Francisco, betting he can do it in 15 hours. This powerful 375 horsepower car was filmed tearing through Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California in real locations, with absolutely no cinematic trickery. 5 identical Challengers, all provided by Chrysler, were used, and the stunts were performed by legendary drivers like Kerry Lofton and Max Belkowski. What makes Vanishing Point stand out is its raw authenticity. No green screens, no CGI, just the pure Mopar roar screaming across sun-drenched highways. The film's opening scene, actually the disguised ending, sees Kowalski charging full speed into a police roadblock with bulldozers in Cisco, California. The film's existential tone, combined with its simple narrative and roaring soundtrack, cemented its status as a counterculture symbol. It's a cinematic bullet of speed, defiance, and unavoidable destiny. This remains one of the most famous chase action films of the 1970s in North America. Gone in 60 Seconds, 1974. Moving on to 1974's Gone in 60 Seconds, a film where director and star H.B. Toby Halicki didn't just make a movie, he orchestrated a car chase that ran for 40 minutes, the longest in cinematic history. He used real streets, real traffic, and no permits whatsoever. The star of this chaos was Eleanor, a 1973 Ford Mustang Mach 1, the only car in history to receive a starring credit. Halicki, a self-taught stuntman and car enthusiast, performed almost all the driving himself. The pursuit raged through Long Beach, California, with 93 cars destroyed, all of them real. No stunt doubles, no CGI, and no second takes. One of the most incredible moments was when Halicki crashed Eleanor into a light pole at 100 miles per hour, breaking one of his vertebrae, yet he returned days later to finish the shot. The film was shot guerrilla style, often without city approval. Many near misses and collisions were unscripted, captured by handheld cameras and Halicki's raw instinct. The climactic jump, with Eleanor soaring over a 30-foot gap, was real, filmed in a single take with no safety equipment. This wasn't just a car chase, it was a self-produced demolition derby, a cinematic daredevil act that made Gone in 60 Seconds a cult legend. Bullitt, 1968. Although released in 1968, Bullitt was the precursor and blueprint for every high-speed chase of the 1970s. Director Peter Yates and star Steve McQueen delivered a groundbreaking car chase. This 10-minute, 53-second sequence pitted McQueen's 1968 Ford Mustang GT 390 Fastback against a 1968 Dodge Charger HRT 440 Magnum, tearing through the undulating streets of San Francisco at speeds exceeding 110 miles per hour. McQueen, a skilled driver, performed many of his own stunts, though legendary stuntmen Bud Ekins and Kerry Lofton also took the wheel for the most perilous maneuvers. Filming took over 3 weeks, with 2 Mustangs and 2 Chargers prepped by Max Balkowski to withstand the brutal abuse. The city granted unprecedented access, closing streets and even allowing night filming at San Francisco International Airport. The visceral realism came from no music, no dialogue, just roaring engines, squealing tires, and raw tension. An unscripted moment when McQueen missed a corner and executed a reverse burnout was so authentic it was kept in the final cut. Bullitt didn't just raise the bar, it launched it into the stratosphere, becoming a cinematic lightning bolt that still resonates today. This film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress in 2007 as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, 1974. Moving on to 1974's Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, director John Ho delivered an explosive rural car chase that pushed the limits of practical stunt work. Peter Fonda's Larry Rader and his crew flee a supermarket robbery in a 1966 Chevy Impala, then switch to a 1969 Dodge Charger RT 440 Magnum, a roaring muscle car that becomes the film's mechanical co-star. The pursuit rips through California's Central Valley with real police cruisers, helicopters, and narrow country roads. The Charger's 375 horsepower V8 screamed through walnut groves and farmland, evading Sheriff Franklin's, Vic Morrow, relentless pursuit. The film's aerial sequences were captured by a Bell Jet Ranger helicopter, flying low and fast to amplify the tension. No camera tricks, just precise handling and daring driving. Stunt coordinator Paul Baxley choreographed the action with minimal safety equipment, relying on pinpoint timing and raw power. One of the most shocking moments comes at the climax. The Charger, having finally shaken the law, slams head-on into a freight train, a real Alco S1 locomotive, in an abrupt, brutal end. No dummies, no CGI, just a high-speed collision captured in a single take. This was a true punch of realism, leaving tire smoke in the audience's minds. Out of the chases we've just explored, which one left you most breathless? Let us know in the comments below. Smokey and the Bandit, 1977. Next up is 1977's Smokey and the Bandit, where director Hal Needham, a former stuntman, turned a simple beer run into a high-speed ballet of roaring engines and airborne muscle cars. Burt Reynolds' Bandit drove a 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am SE, a black and gold icon with a 6.6-liter V8 engine, crisscrossing states to distract law enforcement, while his partner hauled 400 cases of Coors beer, which was, at the time, illegal to transport east of Texas. The film's legendary stunts were all practical, with no CGI or green screens. Needham utilized 4 Trans Ams, all provided by Pontiac, and 3 were destroyed during filming. One of the most incredible moments was the Mulberry Bridge jump, where Bandit launched the Trans Am over a disassembled bridge. The jump was real, performed by a specially modified car with extra rear ballast and a 750-plus horsepower NASCAR engine. The landing was so brutal that the car was completely destroyed. Filmed across Georgia and neighboring states, the chases were shot on real roads with minimal permits. The result was a wild, law-bending bridge-jumping ride that turned the Trans Am into a legend and redefined the car chase comedy genre. This car chase is considered one of the top 5 most exciting car chases of the 20th century. The 7-Ups, 1973. With 1973's The 7-Ups, director Philip D'Antoni, who had produced Bullitt and The French Connection, stepped into the director's chair to deliver a car chase as intense and relentless as its predecessors. Roy Scheider's character, Buddy Minucci, drove a 1973 Pontiac Ventura Sprint Coupe in pursuit of 2 fleeing criminals in a 1973 Pontiac Grandville. The chase roared through Manhattan's Upper West Side, across the George Washington Bridge, and onto the Palisades Interstate Parkway, Taconic State Parkway, and Sawmill River Parkway. Stunt legend Bill Hickman, who also drove in Bullitt and The French Connection, played one of the villains and choreographed the chase. The sequence was filmed with real traffic, minimal permits, and no CGI, relying on precise driving skills and in-camera stunts. One of the most shocking moments, a Pontiac Grandville crashing into a parked truck, sending its entire roof flying into the air, was performed practically with no dummies or digital effects. This chase is also known as the action film trilogy, with top-notch car chases, all made by the renowned filmmaker Philip D'Antoni. The gritty realism of the pursuit, the tight urban corners, and the highway speeds made it a spiritual successor to The French Connection. But with its own brutal and blue-collar flair, it's an analog adrenaline masterclass. White Lightning, 1973. In 1973's White Lightning, Burt Reynolds' Gator McCluskey exploded through the American South in a gritty battle against corruption, and every frame dripped with authenticity. Directed by Joseph Sargent and filmed in Central Arkansas, the movie featured real locations like Benton's I-30 Speedway and the Saline County Courthouse, setting the stage for its raw Southern tone. Gator's vehicle of choice, a 1971 Ford Custom 500 modified for moonshine running. The film's most iconic car chase moment came when Gator escaped Sheriff J.C. Connors, Ned Beatty, by launching his car from a riverbank onto a moving barge, a stunt performed by Hal Needham, Reynolds' real-life buddy and legendary stuntman. The jump went awry. The car partially plunged into the water, and Reynolds dove in to rescue Needham. The film's stunts were all practical, with no permits and minimal safety equipment. Real roads, real danger, and real Southern grit. The final pursuit culminated with Gator provoking Connors into driving off a treacherous riverbank. No CGI, just a sinking patrol car and a drowned villain. White Lightning didn't just burn rubber, it ignited the genre of Southern outlaw car movies that followed. Mad Max, 1979. In 1979, director George Miller ignited a new era of vehicular mayhem with Mad Max, blending dystopian grit and practical danger. Filmed on a shoestring budget across Melbourne and rural Victoria, the film's car chases were executed without CGI, without permits, and often without closed roads. Just nerves of steel and Aussie ingenuity. The film opens with the Knight Rider chase, a high-speed pursuit involving a stolen Holden Monaro HQ and multiple Main Force patrol interceptors, including Max's 1974 Ford Falcon XB sedan. Stunts were coordinated by Grant Page, with many sequences filmed at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour on public roads. The chaos was real. Cars slid through intersections, narrowly missed civilians, and collided with actual roadside obstacles. The film's mechanical star, the pursuit special Last of the V8 Interceptors, was a heavily modified 1973 Ford Falcon XB-GT coupe, fitted with a non-functional Wyand supercharger and a Concorde-style nose cone. Its menacing presence and powerful V8 sound became iconic. One of the most shocking moments, the fiery death of the Knight Rider, was captured in a single take using real pyrotechnics and a full-size car rig. Mad Max didn't just raise the stakes, it blew them away. The Driver, 1978. Coming to 1978's The Driver, director Walter Hill stripped away the superfluous elements of the car chase to retain its purest form. No names, no musical score, just the primal roar of engines and the squeal of tires on asphalt. Ryan O'Neal played the nameless getaway driver, a calm, precise wheelman with supernatural accuracy behind the wheel. The film's centerpiece was a nocturnal pursuit through downtown Los Angeles, where O'Neal's character evaded police in a 1974 Ford Galaxy 500, pursued by a convoy of Plymouth Furies. Every stunt was performed practically with no process shots or CGI. Stunt coordinator Billy Burton confirmed that Ryan O'Neal was trained to perform many of his own maneuvers. The chase's choreography was precise. Sharp turns, J-turns, and reverse 180 degrees were executed in real traffic under genuine pressure. A standout moment was the underground parking garage scene, where O'Neal demolished a brand new Mercedes-Benz W108 250S to demonstrate his skill, smashing into columns, ripping off bumpers, and crumpling body panels in a brutal display of control and destruction. Filmed entirely in Los Angeles, The Driver is an analog tension masterclass, a ballet noir of steel and smoke that still hits hard today. Do you remember the thrill of watching a real, no CGI car chase? Share your memories below. Cannonball, 1976. In 1976, director Paul Bartel and star David Carradine delivered a chaotic, tire-burning spectacle in Cannonball, inspired by the real-life illegal transcontinental cannonball baker, Sea to Shining Sea, Memorial Trophy Dash, protesting the 55 miles per hour speed limit. Carradine played Coy Cannonball Buckman, a Paralay entering the Grand Prix Transamerica, a no-rules race from Los Angeles to New York, in a 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The film's stunts were orchestrated with minimal permits and maximum destruction. Filmed on real streets across Los Angeles and the American Southwest, the production leaned into a demolition derby style with over 50 vehicles destroyed during filming. Bartel, known for Death Race 2000, brought his signature blend of satire and destruction, while stunt coordinator Gary Davis ensured the chaos was real and relentless. A standout sequence involved a Pontiac Trans Am flipping multiple times after a high-speed collision, a practical stunt executed with a real car and pyrotechnics. Another scene showed a Chevy Corvette skidding off a cliff, captured in a single take with no miniatures. Cannonball was pure 70s grit. No CGI, no safety nets, just roaring engines, twisted metal, and outlaw adrenaline from coast to coast. This film is a prime example of how 70s filmmakers created authentic, dangerous action with real vehicles and real consequences. Race with the Devil, 1975. In 1975, director Jack Starrett blended horror and high-speed action into a uniquely terrifying chase thriller called Race with the Devil, starring Peter Fonda and Warren Oates. The film follows two couples in a 1973 Dodge Travco motorhome as they flee a satanic cult across rural Texas after witnessing a human sacrifice. What started as a vacation turned into a relentless pursuit, and the RV became both a sanctuary and a weapon. Shot entirely on real locations in rural Texas, the production utilized actual highways, bridges, and country roads with no soundstages or digital effects. The chases were choreographed by stunt coordinator Gary McLarty, who turned the unwieldy RV into a surprisingly capable getaway vehicle. A standout sequence involved the RV barreling down a narrow bridge while cultists and pickup trucks flanked both sides, all filmed practically with real vehicles and no green screen. The film's climax was a brutal gauntlet of Molotov cocktails, flipped trailers, and high-speed collisions, culminating in a fiery confrontation. The RV's damage was real, sustained over multiple takes, and the actors were often inside during the stunts. Race with the Devil proved that even a lumbering motorhome could deliver thrills, especially with Satanists hot on its heels. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, 1974. In director Michael Cimino's debut film, 1974's Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, Clint Eastwood and Jeff Bridges tore through Montana in a series of gritty, unscripted car chases that combined style with raw danger. Early in the film, Bridges' character steals a 1973 Pontiac Trans Am 455 Super Duty right from the dealership, a real car, not a prop, and uses it to rescue Eastwood's Thunderbolt from an assassin. The Trans Am ripped through ditches and riverbanks in a wild escape, filmed on location with no permits and minimal stunt equipment. Later, the duo commandeered a 1973 Buick Riviera boat tail, which became a bullet-riddled wreck after George Kennedy's character blasted its rear window with a shotgun. The Riviera was then driven over rough terrain in a desperate attempt to outrun their pursuers, all captured with practical effects and real damage. The most chaotic moment came when they commandeered a souped-up 1973 Plymouth Fury, which its original driver had rolled into a ditch. Eastwood and Bridges then stole the damaged Mopar and fled, unaware their enemies were hiding in the backseat. No green screens, no CGI, just real cars, real crashes, and two anti-heroes fleeing destiny on the rugged roads of Montana. The Gumball Rally, 1976. With 1976's The Gumball Rally, director Charles Bale, a former stunt coordinator, turned the illegal transcontinental race into a roaring, comedic free-for-all. Inspired by Brock Yates' real-life Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, the film featured a diverse cast of racers tearing from New York to Long Beach in exotic machines, including a 1976 Ferrari Daytona Spider, a Kawasaki Z1 motorcycle, and the film's mechanical star, in 1967 Shelby Cobra 427SC, chassis CSX3243. That Cobra wasn't a replica, it was the real deal. Lent by Shelby collector Les Lindley, Its powerful V8 kicked off the film in Manhattan traffic, beginning the race with a thunderous roar. The stunts were all performed practically, filmed on real roads across America with minimal permits. A standout sequence saw the Cobra and Ferrari drag racing side by side through the Los Angeles River Basin, a location later immortalized in Grease and Terminator 2. The film's tone was lighthearted, but the driving was dead serious. Real speed, real crashes, and real danger. No CGI, just raw horsepower, squealing tires, and one rule. There are no rules. This was outlaw adrenaline wrapped in a smile, delivering unbelievable action that still retained that 70s authenticity. Rolling Thunder, 1977. In 1977, director John Flynn and screenwriter Paul Schrader crafted a haunting revenge thriller that exploded into a final act of cold fury called Rolling Thunder. The film starred William Devane as Major Charles Rane, a Vietnam POW who returns home to unspeakable tragedy and, ultimately, vengeance. Though the film was more psychological than action-packed, its climactic car chase was an eruption of brutal, unglamorous realism. The pursuit took place in rural Texas, where Rane and fellow veteran Johnny Voden, played by Tommy Lee Jones, hunted down the killers. Rane drove a 1973 Ford Galaxie 500, a full-size sedan treated more as a crude tool than a getaway car. The chase was brief, but every frame relied on practical stunt work. No musical score, no slow motion, just the crunch of tires on gravel and the roar of a V8 engine. Filmed on real locations with real roads and minimal safety equipment, the sequence culminated in a tense confrontation at a secluded brothel. The chase wasn't flashy, but it was raw, unflinching, and steeped in revenge, perfectly reflecting the film's raw emotional core. It was a final drive into darkness and justice, a powerful example of how practical action can convey deep emotion. What do you think makes a classic car chase, and can modern films still achieve it? Comment below to discuss. Duel, 1971. Stepping back to 1971, Duel was a thriller directed by young Steven Spielberg, a masterclass in tension and suspense, featuring one of the most gripping car chases in cinematic history. Though not a traditional high-speed pursuit, the film's central premise involved a relentless chase that kept audiences on the edge of their seats. The story revolves around a businessman, played by Dennis Weaver, who becomes the target of a mysterious and menacing truck driver while driving through the California desert. What ensues is a cat-and-mouse game that escalates into a tense battle for survival. The brilliance of Duel lies in its ability to turn an everyday scenario into a nightmare. The film's car chases were characterized by psychological intensity rather than sheer speed. Spielberg masterfully employed camera angles, pacing, and sound design to create an atmosphere of continuous dread and unease. The tension mounted as the truck driver relentlessly pursued the protagonist, with each encounter raising the stakes and leaving viewers holding their breath. Despite its lack of high-speed stunts, Duel stands out as a testament to Spielberg's storytelling prowess. The film is a master of suspense, proving that a compelling chase doesn't always need breakneck speed, but rather relies on the fear of the unknown and primal survival instincts. Blazing Magnum, 1976. With 1976's Blazing Magnum, also known as Strange Shadows in an Empty Room, director Alberto De Martino delivered an intense and well-executed car chase that added to the film's excitement. In this movie, the protagonist, played by Stuart Whitman, engages in a high-speed car chase through city streets in pursuit of a dangerous criminal. The chase is marked by fast driving, sharp turns, and narrow escapes, showcasing the skills of both the actors and the stunt performers involved. What made the car chase in Blazing Magnum notable was its gritty realism and attention to detail. The filmmakers succeeded in capturing the intensity of the pursuit, using practical effects and skillful driving to create a suspenseful sequence that kept audiences glued to their screens. While Blazing Magnum may not be as widely known as some other films of its era, its car chases contributed to the rich tapestry of 1970s action cinema, demonstrating the era's emphasis on real life, practical stunts, and genuine thrills. The Burglars, 1971. Moving on to 1971's The Burglars, a crime thriller directed by Henri Verneuil, which featured a thrilling car chase that embodied the daring spirit and excitement of 1970s cinema. In this dramatic pursuit, the protagonists are chased by both police and rival criminals, creating a heart-pounding sequence that exemplified the era's emphasis on action and suspense. Set against the stunning backdrops of Greece, the car chase in The Burglars was marked by fast driving, sharp turns, and tense evasions. The pursuit took audiences on a wild ride through picturesque landscapes and narrow streets, creating a sense of urgency and danger that kept viewers captivated. What made this car chase memorable was the combination of skillful stunt work and the breathtaking Greek scenery. The chase delivered a feeling of both exhilaration and visual spectacle, with ancient ruins and coastal roads serving as the backdrop, adding a unique dimension to the action. The use of practical effects and professional driving techniques contributed to the authenticity of the sequence. The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. In the ninth film of the James Bond series, 1974's The Man with the Golden Gun, directed by Guy Hamilton, featured an exhilarating car chase that has become one of the most memorable moments in Bond film history. With Roger Moore as James Bond, the film took 007 on a globe-trotting adventure, leading to a high-speed pursuit in the stunning setting of Bangkok, Thailand. In this thrilling car chase, Bond is pursued by the notorious assassin Francisco Scaramanga, played by Christopher Lee in his iconic yellow AMC Matador coupe. Bond skillfully navigates his red AMC Hornet through Bangkok's winding and narrow streets, facing various obstacles and challenges posed by Scaramanga. What made this car chase stand out was the combination of excitement, humor, and creative stunt work. The pursuit was characterized by sharp turns, jumps, and narrow escapes, showcasing Bond's resourcefulness and quick thinking. The use of practical effects, real stunts, and spectacular locations contributed to the authenticity of the sequence. The car chase in The Man with the Golden Gun is a testament to the Bond franchise's ability to deliver thrilling and visually impressive sequences. Roger Moore's charming performance as Bond, coupled with creative direction and skillful stunt work, made this chase an unforgettable moment in the series, capturing the essence of 1970s action cinema and solidifying its place in the annals of classic car chases. Moonrunners, 1975. Finally, we close our list with 1975's Moonrunners, a rough-around-the-edges gem from the 70s that is a crucial precursor to the legendary TV series The Dukes of Hazzard. Written and directed by Guy Waldron, who created Dukes, this film follows two cousins who haul moonshine for their Uncle Jesse, with the distinctive narration of Waylon Jennings. Moonrunners perfectly fits the description of 70s films about moonshine and car chases in the American South. The movie authentically portrayed the lives of moonshiners who constantly had to upgrade their vehicles to outrun local law enforcement. The car chases in Moonrunners, while not as elaborately detailed as those in blockbuster films, were imbued with the gritty and realistic spirit of the Southern outlaw car genre. These were chases with no green screens, no CGI, just pure driving skill, and the roar of powerful engines as cogs. For more common cars, prices may have peaked and could even decline, but this also opens up opportunities for more enthusiasts to own a piece of history, which can in turn drive demand. Did we leave something out that you remember? Share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing your stories. If you enjoyed this look back, check out more videos in this series. And don't forget to subscribe and share. Back to yesterday with friends who love nostalgia too. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.